All right, let's get started. We have a dual blade. I rused you guys. You guys thought it was going to be one of those other classes. Remember? Another dual blade. Yes. Where are you at with the dual blade? What are you enjoying? What are you not enjoying? What are you participating in?
Well, basically, it is my main. I have been playing this character for I don't know how long.
Mm-hmm.
I switched to Night Lord like 3 months ago, but I want to go back to Dual Blade again
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know. I just feel comfortable with Dual Blades.
Sure.
And we basically just cleared Seavel like a half an hour ago
Mm-hmm.
in a party of two others.
Okay.
And well, that's where I am right now in
Mm-hmm.
terms of progression.
Is that a organized party that you do most stuff together with, or just random pickup
No,
group? Or?
it's two friends of mine, and then we just basically see when we have time, and then we try to attempt Sivo.
Right, right. And then you're all kind of at the same level of how strong you are.
Yeah, we all start at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So everyone trains a little bit on their own, and then it's like, okay, can we do a boss together?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Because yeah, everyone has their own schedules, of course, work times, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
okay, cool. And so Seavel is doable. And have you tried it like solo before? See how far you get.
Not yet, because I basically switched to back to my dual blader like this week or something. I had
Mm-hmm.
insane luck with my Kana farming.
Right.
Got my emblem and weapon. Secondary to legendary, and my dominator pendant. I got it at second drop with no item drop at all,
Nice.
and that's unique as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I did all that with like just 700 mil.
Cool, cool. That sounds very promising. Okay. And wait, so the clear was as a dual blade or as a night lord?
As a dual blade.
As a dual blade. Okay. Okay. All right. And what are the other two classes that you're playing together with, just for reference?
One is a bowmaster and the other is a demon slayer.
Okay. And is your goal to like kind of keep this party and just this party like as long as possible until you need to add more people to kill things, basically?
Yeah, we're just trying to see how far we can get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think, yeah, with that party, as long as everyone keeps upgrading, I think Lotus and Damien should probably also just be doable with, like, the three of you. And then everything beyond that is probably, you know, like Lucid and everything beyond is probably when you want to start adding on more people to survive, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So did you guys have anything specific in mind what you want to reach, or is it just like, we'll just keep leveling and see where it takes us?
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like for us, endgame is all new.
Mm-hmm.
I think we never cleared anything beyond Seavel.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very curious what the endgame will bring us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True. That seems fair. Yeah. So Lotus and yeah. Once you can party it, you get all the gear. We'll see how strong you are. I guess at a certain point, everyone will just start soloing the bosses instead, so you get more money from the crystals, and you don't group up as much anymore. But then you group up for harder bosses, right?
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Because next is probably going to be Hard Magnus. I don't know if you've tried that one.
Yeah, we cleared that.
You go with that,
well.
cool. And then Akechi and Chaos Papulatus will probably be next.
Yeah, we didn't try that yet.
Mm-hmm. So those will be on the menu, and then once you can do those better, then Lotus and Demon are like next after that. It's kind of the boss-wise the progression there.
All right, good to know.
Okay. Yeah, it'll kind of depend on if everyone is able to solo, then you just, you do it in your own time and you focus on the other bosses, because you don't want to have to set like 6 times during the week to do like 2 bosses every time and to do a trio everything, right?
Yeah.
They'll end up taking up a bit more of your week than you would want to, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm. I noticed for the boost nodes you don't have any Asura's Anger in there.
No, that kind of switched like I think yesterday.
Okay.
My Asura Anger is at like 11 now, and my Phantom Blow is at 45, and my Blade Clone is at 28.
Okay, so you added an 11 boost node with those 3 in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you know about the cost when you use a leveled up node for enhancement versus when you have to extract it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So make sure that you don't lose too many or lose too much value there later down the road if you start consolidating the nodes again, right? Because then now you have the skill on 3 boost nodes, which is fine for now. But then later, if you move it back to 2, then yeah. Okay, just checking on that. Other than that, Matrix seems fine, right? No questions there.
No, I'm just like looking for more perfect trios, and then once I level up, I can just add them.
Mm-hmm. Do you use anything different between mobbing and bossing?
For now, I don't. Well, apart from Holy Symbol, of course.
Yeah, for the bind.
No Holy yeah, for the bind, yeah.
And if you use, because with Speed Infusion, you still get a rank of extra attack speed, right? What weapon are you using right now?
Well, I have Vic Epso.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have that Fafnir that you see.
Yeah, that one's.
But I'm just curious to see if I need to use my 17 scroll on it or my 15 that you can buy in the shop.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Well, we'll look at all the other stuff first to see where we end up with that. To see what is the best. What are the best candidates? Okay. Is there anything else in the game that you feel like you don't know enough about that you might want some more explanation on?
I think I never transposed an item before.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think I'm at that point yet to start focusing on that, to be honest.
Transposing usually comes into play once your superior set is full and once you start moving past because then basically it breaks down your entire boss accessory set, or pretty much half of it. So then you start filling on the other slots that are left with as good as possible items, and then that includes transposing certain accessories. Yeah, the one, of course, the Papulatus mark. Just you just have to wait for a drop, which can take forever. Dominator's slightly more realistic and more achievable, which you already have, but then you're going to be sinking a lot of flames into that, and you don't want to make sure that you want to make sure that you don't prioritize that over flaming the actual items that you're already actively using versus something that's more min-maxy for later to to optimize the slot rather than something you're already using the whole time. So it basically comes more into play once you're getting everything 17 star and above. That's when you start thinking more about prepping and upgrading, and specifically looking for something to transpose.
Yeah, so not really for me right now.
No, yeah, and I did forget Helix, but there is a chance that once have you guys tried Hardlux before?
No, but I think we're not gonna wait too long with that to try it.
Because Hardlux should be pretty doable for you as a Night Lord. Got the Assassin's Mark flying down and stuff like that, and with your range, you can get Hardlux pretty fast. And what you can do is once everyone can solo Hardlux, that's a good measure to start trying Helix together, or maybe add another person in. And then as long as you have like a fair rotation of who gets the loot drops, if they drop, of course, but everyone gets their own coins that are instants now. So that could be a good way of getting yourself a good amount of daily coins. Of course, if the timetables allow you to group up for that every day. And then if it doesn't, then you can still do Hardlux on that day, something like that. Because you do want to get the ball rolling on Gollux coins as fast as possible.
Yeah, I was working on that on my Night Lord a bit, but I don't even have 200 coins yet, so...
Yeah, it's a slow process. So you've been doing Hardlux by yourself?
No. I just got a few carries.
Oh, a few carries, okay. Yeah, it takes a while, so... Okay. But yeah, for transposing in general, when you transpose, you try to get the item 2 and keep it at 16. That's like the optimal point to transpose, 16 stars. And for the flame, typically people aim between 105 and 115 flame score. And then, you you need 10 dineros every time you transpose, and you could try it 10 times a day, and it's a pretty low chance of succeeding. So, some people get it on the first day, some people on the first try, some people have to try for 2 weeks. There's a pretty wide standard deviation there.
Ah, I see.
But yeah, by that time, hopefully you built up a bunch of dineros, and you're not really gated by that. But yeah, like I said, for the Papulatus mark, it's pretty it's pretty hard to count on that. Dominator Pendant into Sweetwater is more reliable, but yeah, you want to make sure that all the other stuff is getting upgraded first, 17 star plus, basically. Okay, so how's Lynx and Legion? How's that all going?
Well, I wanted to get to like 4K Legion.
Mm-hmm.
Like the biggest thing that I'm missing right now, I think, are the mage link skills.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I got a lot of them. Currently, I'm using. Let me check. Yeah, like Demon Slayer and Phantom, some other for Illunium,
Mm-hmm.
Demon Adventure, like all of that stuff. Got a Beast Tamer as well. Did it with last Terror Burning.
Right. Are you getting it to 210, or is it just at 200?
At the moment, it's at 200, but I want to get it to 210 before my Fafnir disappears.
Disappears, yeah, okay. The one thing I do notice is that you have, because with Dual Blade, you have a lot of crit rate and IED. Excuse me. In your kit.
Yeah.
That does make it so that you don't have to go too hard on those compared to a lot of other people. But you do have, in your link skills, you do have the Phantom Instinct and both Rin and Bravado in there. And I wonder if that's like your... maybe you don't have access to all of the links yet, but I wonder if that is your ideal setup, or if there's other ones that you could throw in there.
Well, I do have an Angelic Buster that I can use the link skill of.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, not really. But it will be replaced probably with the mage one as well.
The mage, yeah. And the... maybe the thief one?
Yeah, but that's already on the left side, right?
True. Yeah. Good point. Calling me out. Appreciate it. How about Judgment, the Kinesis link?
Yeah, I need to make that one still. I don't have a Kinesis.
But that's... those would be the options. If you put Kinesis AB and Mage instead of... probably... Probably instead of... if you're going to replace 3, probably keep one of the IED ones for now. What's your stat window right now? Where is it? It's 85 visual.
Yeah, that's without an familiar.
That's without familiar. But that's with 9 in your hyper stats, so we have to take that into our brain. But then your main attack has 30, and then 20 passive hyper, 20 boost node, right?
Yeah, it's 30 from the skill itself and 20 for boost node.
Yeah. And do you have the passive hyper as well?
Let me check actually.
Let's forget which ones.
Yes, that's also 20.
Yeah. So if you want to end up at like 93, the last 3 is the 30% from the skill, so you're at 90, and then 20%. So that's like 2. You're in like 88, now we're in like 86, maybe a little bit lower, like 85. So with this all, you're at like 90. Yeah. And the ignore defense in your Legion, that's 17, right? 13, right? 13, yeah. And then the next one would be like 21, and then 30, and then 40, yeah. Okay. Because I'm thinking with all the sources, is there any reason why you don't have ID familiar yet? You just haven't opened one yet, or?
No, I have one, but it's just 15%.
Right. But the stat window is without having it out, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
With the familiar, it's 88.
Yeah, 88. Yeah. Rounded. It runs to 88, 15%, 52. Okay, so that means we're pretty close to 86 without. Okay. And do you have a second familiar end slot?
No, not yet. I need to get another batch.
Mm-hmm. Because I think if you do that, what be your optimal setup? Most likely is to move your Legion pieces out of IED and into boss damage instead. If you replace it with an extra IED, because you don't need both of those, and the IED from the familiar is cheaper, because then you can just replace the Legion and then get 13% boss for it, which you can't really get on a familiar, right?
Oh yeah.
So that would be like a more optimal way of distributing that. Let's look at your... Unless you're getting some ID for your WSE, but I don't think you are, right?
I have one on my emblem, 40%.
Okay. Right, okay. Alright, let's take that into account. OMG Beyond Guild. Oh shit, we got a...
Yeah, some guildmates of mine.
guild members in the chat. Okay, so we do have that 40 there. Did you ever do like the functional ID calculation? We might have to do that one.
Well, I never did it, but I just kind of tried it out of my head.
Yeah. So it's not that I don't trust you, but it's like easier for the hyperstat level 9 is 27, right? I believe. No, this one.
Yeah, it's 27.
You have all the CRA head, top, and bottom, and Abzo weapon, right?
Yes.
BCMer is rank double S. Do you have a blaster?
Yes.
What rank is it?
I think it was 130.
So that'd be rank A.
Yeah, it's A. So that's 2%.
Oh, it's 2%? Oh. And what's your ambition level at? Or the ID from ambition, how much is that? Like
Let me see.
like 7 or something? Just spitballing.
Oh, my level is 38, so it's just 3.5.
3.5, okay. You don't have a Monster Park medal yet, right?
No.
Osmonaut's 20. You don't have Spirigolic set yet. You have Hyper Passive 20. And then you have your emblem. I think that gets us and then you have a familiar 1 would be 15. If you have any questions, let me know, by the way. If I'm just like doing this on the side, but if there's anything you're like, what is going on?
Yeah, I have this screen open as well. So.
Yeah. You have boss accessory set 10 right now?
Yes. I think it's max.
Yeah, that's 1 out of 10, yeah, and then like 10 boss. You don't have any on your weapon soul, right?
No, it's just max HP.
Okay. Yeah, it's very normal for early soul to be just absolute duck shit. It's very, very basic. Event buffs, title, skills, potion, that's all just Let's do this. So if we add the Explorer Mage, if we add that, let's say that we go for the so this means that if you get the two familiars, right? And you roll out of the if you keep everything but you roll out of the emblem, let's say you did that, that would mean that you would still stay over 90 functional.
Okay.
And then, so that's good to know. If you get the second familiar, one thing that you can also do, right, is change the and it also means that you get rid of the two link skills, right? Both the Rins and the Hoyoung one. And then
And also have the 0 link skill, as you said.
Yeah, the 0. If you get rid of the 0 in Hoyoung, and your line of and the emblem, and you add the Explorer Mage, you add the Monster Parker badge. These are all like things that are doable, right? Without like crazy investment or something. It's just like a little bit of time. So you add familiar, Mage Explorer Link, and badge so far. Ends you up at this, and then the next thing you could add is I'm not gonna go like third familiar. That's a bit too much. Do you have any? You don't have any other innate passive skills or something that give you IED, right?
No, I don't think so.
But you do have two skills that have 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Asura's Anger and your Big Bursts go. Both have 100%. Yeah.
Blade Tempest and.
And the tornado as well, right? Yeah, tornado as well.
Blades of Destiny is 30%.
Yeah, Destiny's 30%, Tornado is 100%, Tempest is 100%, and then Asura's Anger, I think, is also 100%.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Embossing has 50? No, it has a line of 30 and a line of 20, which is not the same as 50. But you know about that, right? The calculation and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just make sure. We don't have, like, fake news going on in the chat. Keep you at this, and then because I wonder if we can get rid of the ones in your Legion. The 13. That would drop you down to 90.28, which is like fine for now, but you do want to be higher once you start doing Lotus and Damien for sure than this. For CRA and like HMAG and stuff, this is fine. But for Helix, Lotus, and Damien, you want to be higher. Oh wait, you have IED on your Katara, right?
Yes, an extra 10%.
Hey, we got to think of everything here, okay? Yeah.
Totally forgot about that one.
Yeah, well, that's why that's so nice for Dual Blade, because you get that extra as well. And then, right, because then with this, do we keep the line on the emblem until? It's probably better to keep this and then the emblem 40. Emblem 40 is going to be overkill, but you keep this until you get your Sweetwater set completed. Sorry, the Golic set completed.
Oh, yeah.
And then you will lose the 10%. Where is it? Boss set. You will lose that one. And then gain Golic's 30. Then you're at 96. You're like, what the fuck? Way too high, right? Then you get rid of the emblem one. And then you're still at 93. And then by that time you have all the other sources. You might even get the hyper stat from 27 up to 30. So then you're like 93.5, and then your team, maybe some shit from your team helps you a little bit more. The blaster maybe a little bit more. The ambition will be higher. Your ambition will probably be closer to like something like 7. These are all like small things, but all of the small things do add up, so we do have to take that into consideration. Abs of web. Let me. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe the blaster will go to 3 at least, right? Because that's just 140, so that'll slowly happen, and then you're like close to 94, and then that's good for Helix, Lotus, and Damien for all of that. Well, for Helix you already had it, right? And then for Helix you drop down, but not too low, so you can still do that properly. And then for Lotus and Damien you're like in a good spot. And then for those 3 skills that you have, you go to 100%, and that's also a lot of your damage, and you use that quite a bit. So
yeah.
The one thing is you're functionally going to be lower on Blades of Destiny, right? Because you don't have the passive one for that. So your Blades of Destiny is going to hit for 92.22. And that's maybe a little bit low. So where can we get a little bit more IED? Without going into your WSE. We want to avoid that one at all costs. Oh, by that time your Legion will be higher, so then you can add one more into the Legion, right?
Yeah, I'll probably just focus on the mages so I can get the 4K Legion.
Yeah, but this one is now completely without Legion, so anything you add beyond there with Legion will go into it again.
Ah, I see.
So this is rolling out of Legion, but keeping your emblem for now, but moving the Legion over to boss, adding a familiar, adding the Explorer Mage, adding the Monster Parker badge medal, then getting full Golok set, then rolling out of the emblem, then moving back into the Legion, and out of the boss accessory set bonus.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so then Legion will go back to like Legion choose 6, 7, 8, so 21. Yeah, and then you'll be right there. For fucking Blades of Destiny, you'll be almost at 94, and then for everything else, you'll be at like 95. And then you'll basically be set for endgame.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's like the general IED progression there. Yeah, that can be a bit tricky, a little bit of a puzzle, but oh yeah, and then you move the hyperstats up to 30 once you get, once you have so many points that basically every one of those 5 goes up to 10, right? And then crit rate wise, then you start looking, once you're like past Lotus and Damien, then you start looking at pumping your crit rate to always be at 100, but until then you're fine with whatever you have now.
Well, I do kind of have that passive for it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, the only thing is like when you start in Lotus, their passive can't proc there, right? And you want to have 100% crit so you get through the laser phase faster.
Oh yeah, true.
So, I mean, there might be some other situations, but that's one of the main situations where you do want to get your crit a bit higher. But like I said, there's going to be a lot of things. I don't know if you have your Night Lord. Well, you do have a Night Lord, right? Yeah. Well, do you have? Yeah, you have a second Night Lord. I don't know if you have a Marksman leveled up. But there's a bunch of like smaller sources of crit that can come in. What soul you end up with on your weapon could be something that like matches that. But yeah, I'm not too worried about the crit rate. That's like a problem for much later. Like after Lotus and Damien, you start worrying about that basically. Because if you're partying Lotus and everything, whether you have 88 or 100% crit rate, like phase 1 should be very, very quick. And that's the only thing where it like matters at this point. Okay, so that does give us room for those link skills, but we already talked about which other ones we want to move in there, right?
Yes.
And so possibly when you're bossing and when you're mobbing, you could also think about like moving out your Phantom Instinct, right? Because, whether you're at 88 and it goes up to 100 or 68 and it goes to 100 or 73 and it goes up to 100 with the passive, that's all the same, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so that is a spot. If you're not doing Lotus, then that is a spot that is more free to move around as well. you know, if you're still bossing and you're still pretty new, you could think about something like Close Call, or maybe maybe the Empress Blessing if you have those high leveled up. You have quite a few Cygnus, right? Or, oh no, wait, that was my own thing I saw.
I have one. So
One,
it's just
okay.
level,
Just one, yeah, okay.
level nothing.
Okay. And then weapon, you got the legendary with 3 lines that at least do something. That's already a good start. Yeah, the sour thing about the emblem is of course that it's a 3-line prime, but it's got crit, IED, and attack. And then since the crit and the IED are 2 things that you already have a lot, those do get low value for you compared to a lot of, like if you rolled this and the attack was magic attack, you rolled it on a Kana or something that you're maining, then this is like god tier for until endgame almost. But as a dual blade is like the worst possible character probably to roll this on. But we do, but since it still does give a lot of utility, I want to, you know, keep this for now on the emblem, and then, you know, move around with the link skills instead for the crit, and with the move around with the other source of ID instead, so you can keep this one, and then you can re-roll this once you basically get the Superior Golic set. Once that comes into play, then you re-roll this one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the timeline on that. That does mean that you we will talk about like weapon and what, you know, where we plan on that in a little bit. But it does mean that it will disproportionately put a little bit more pressure on your secondary, because that one is going to have to like perform. But right now that is quite nice. I'll have to look at all the other equips. If you have any questions at any time, just let me know, okay?
Yeah, we'll do.
So you got the familiar, you got the one. You already know. Do you kind of know which badges to go for? If you just got one badge, it's fine. But if you're going for 10 badges, do you have like an idea of which badges to go for?
Not for all 10, but I saw another progression video. You said that you can go for the first one in like Edelstein, just get 3 of them there.
Yeah, that's a simple one. Yeah, for the one extra. Yeah, for the 10, it's a bit tricky. But just look for the. You kind of have to know, but some sets have monsters that don't exist in the game anymore, or they exist in the game, but nobody can go to the maps anymore. And then, you know, before you go like halfway through the set and then you realize that you can't complete it, it's always good to look at the sets beforehand and see which ones are even possible. Some that are impossible, for example, like this one, the magical badge, this one is impossible. Like the fucking maladies and zombie lupins and shit. I'm pretty sure those aren't in the game anymore. Right, guys? I don't think... Are maladies still in the game, actually? I don't even know. I don't think anyone goes for the magical badge. That's all I know. This one I think is technically possible, but a snack bar drop. If you can avoid boss drops, then avoid that as much as possible. And then if you end up needing a set with a boss, then make sure that it only has one boss in it, right? Because like this, the peaceful badge is like, oh, there's not too many monsters in here, but it has chaos. It has mush mom, zombie mush mom, and blue mush mom in there. And it's like. That's 3 bosses that spawn on a timer on one map, and they can get very tricky. Same with like the Temple of Time badge. Some people do go for that one because it also has 3% IED. Oh, this one, the beach badge, is also impossible. Like it has Florina beach monsters in there that, you know, haven't been in the game for like 8 years. I don't know why this revamped. So it's possible, right? Because these come from booster packs, but if you have to get all 3 of those from booster packs, and that's like the only way. And it has Mano, which is a boss in there as well, so. Rebel badge is no-brainer, definitely doable. That's an easy one to do. Mineral badge, definitely a good one, easy to do. Sandy badge, some people do this one because it only has one boss, the Dio. And apparently he spawns in 2 spots, and sometimes 2 of them spawn in one map, so you can get up to 3 spawns per channel sometimes. So that does make him a bit easier to get.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, the machine badge has too many bosses. Toy badge is bosses and way too many monsters. The Clockwork badge is easy, but only if you can get a Papulatus familiar, either from a booster pack or from a kill. That's like, yeah, with the one boss in there that makes it very, very hard. All the other ones super easy to get, so that's like a maybe. Don't do this one. Don't do this one either, because this there's one boss in here only. You're like, oh, it's only one boss, but this one doesn't drop, like, period. He just doesn't drop the card.
Oh, I see.
So again, if you get a Seraph from a booster pack, then you can complete the set like no trouble whatsoever. But unless you get him from a booster pack, this set is just never completing. So
Oh, I see.
this one has Papa Pixie, which is kind of the same problem. I think as Eliza and Papa Pixie in the same set. Other than that, you know. The other ones, some people go for, like, a lot of these are hard. I don't know if you can get the Showa badge. I don't know. The city badge is definitely not happening. These guys don't drop cards, so that's a big no-no. I think this one is possible, but I'm not even sure. There's probably some bosses in here as well. Are there bosses actually? I don't know if this one is possible, honestly. Tyrant badge, you have to do like the weird PQ for that. Some people do the Commercy badge, and you have to, during the pre-quest, you have to try to get 2 of the, I think it's for Blood Pirate, Swabby, and Lookout, I believe. These 2 only drop during the pre-quests of the storyline, so if you don't get it during that quest, you have to cancel it and restart it so that you can get like more attempts in there.
Okay.
Mariner badge is okay because the Molishizer, but again, like now we're getting into the territory of like which ones are the least bad, basically. Oh yeah, Lion badge is also just like a bunch of normal monsters, so this one's very good. And then Mariner badge and Mush King badge have 1 boss in it, but the boss is very repeatable. Black Viking is like no limit repeatable, so that makes it doable. Mariner badge is like a little bit of cooldown before you can go back in, but it's like 10 seconds or something, 15 seconds. And then you can basically spam this guy as well, but that's when you get into the territory of like, I need number 8, 9, and 10, so yeah, you try to go for a little bit the harder sets to go, but yeah. Some of those sets are impossible, so be careful before you start investing too much time, and then you get to, oh, I only need 1 more card, but then that one's impossible, and then you're just gonna...
Yeah, you wasted the time, basically.
Yeah, wasted all the time. Okay, so Wings of Fate. You still have the Wings of Fate. Do you have any progress on the Tyrant Cape? Did you get one?
Yeah, I got one on my Night Lord, but we're trying to get that soon for me as well on this character.
Wait, I thought you... Oh, you switched Night... Okay.
Yeah.
I completely misunderstood. I thought you, like, job changed your character a long time ago.
Oh, no. I also have a Night Lord.
Right.
225.
I see. Okay. Yeah, because you know about open job advancement, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I thought you did that. My bad. That's my bad assumption there. Okay. Cool. That's why your node situation was better than I expected. Because if you switch over, a lot of times people like extract a bunch of their nodes so they can have better nodes on the other one, and then if they ever want to switch back, they're completely boned because they've got like nothing to go back to. And then then I usually expect a way worse node situation. Okay, that explains more. Sorry about the...
I farm a lot with Kana, so I had a lot of nodes as well, but
I see. Okay.
It's like level 17 before I started farming on Kana.
Okay. And what's the Kana at? Like where do you farm at? What kind of rates do you make?
Like 400 mil an hour at chickens.
Okay.
But that's without Legion pot and Wealth pot.
And like and how many nodes do you get with that? Like 10, 15 an hour, something like that?
Yeah, around that one.
Okay. All right. And you have the drop rate set complete there with drop and mezzo?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And is it like around level 225, 230 like that, or?
Yeah, I got 230 yesterday.
Okay. Wow, I'm like, oh, wait, let's see if I can make some more predictions that are like right on it. Okay, and then and your arcane power is around hang on, let me guess. Oh god, this is hard to guess. Is it like around is it 400?
It's 495.
Oh, damn. Okay, that's too much off. Okay, we lost it. We lost the chat. Damn.
That's also because hyperstats are in it, so.
Oh, wait. How high are the hyperstats? Wait, I didn't think about that. Wait, are we like talking about over level 8 here?
No, I think it's 6.
Oh, damn. 6, 30, 65 off still. Nah, it's too much of a margin. Okay, at least the 4 was right, but yeah, I'm too far off. Okay, never mind. That one doesn't count. All right, so but that's all just like slowly. Are you looking forward to getting into the big boy Arcana maps where you have to fight all the bots? Well, you're already fighting the bots. Never mind.
No, not really. Actually,
Is it
I'm
okay?
playing on EU Reboot, so I don't see a lot of them actually.
That's a very different experience.
Yeah, we can find maps. It's pretty nice.
Wait, do we have Burn in the Chicken Festival 1 maps?
Yeah.
Oh wow, the magical land of EU, guys. They have Burn in
But
CFest
it's
1.
it's like sometimes like it's between 20 and 40%, so it's not a lot, but
No, well, I mean, some
something.
people don't want to level too fast so they can stay in the map longer. So it's even better that the burn isn't too high, right?
Yeah, true.
But yeah, it depends on on your situation. Come to EU good. Yeah, well, sounding like a good infomercial for EU right now. Okay, so you're still working on that cape. Cool. Okay, let me just imprint all of your stats of all of your gear in my brain so I can have like a general idea of where to move with everything. So 3, 7, 8, 9, 15, 5, 4, 2. So with the hat, with the potential, you're just holding that for now, right?
Nah, not really. I think that's my next attempt to get that to legendary, to get the skip cooldown hat.
Exactly. Okay, cool. Just double checking. 20, 12. 6 top, 5, 6, event ring 18 silver blossom. Of course, silver blossom gets 18 luck. Duh.
I know, right?
It's all I need. 9, 6 glove, 26 okay. 15 3. Oh, that's fine. 6 belt 9, 4 9 12. Okay, 12 here. Yeah. 6 is fine enough. Okay. So in general for Starforcing, if something only can go up to 15, then typically I keep it at 11 or 12. You know, it's like it is pretty efficient to get like the first 1 or 2 stars, but it's very inefficient to get those last ones. Very expensive, and you don't really get the payoff of going past 15 that makes it worth it. So typically just wait, just stay at 11 or 12. But you've pretty much been doing that already, so that's fine. The other thing is, if you can go past 15, then using a 30% off is the ideal situation to get to 15. Second best would be to use a 1+1 event, 1+1 100% up to 12. And then the third best would be to use a 5, 10, 15, because it's still technically a little bit cheaper, right? Because always 10 to 11 always works at least.
Yes.
So kind of whether you go for one or the other there depends on if you want to push past immediately during the event and on how much money you're sitting, basically. So you do have the farmer, and I assume you're doing all the other stuff. So do you have like a decent amount of money right now available?
Well, I wanted to get like a lot of money for 5, 10, 15.
Mm-hmm.
But then, well, you know, the stuff happened.
Yep.
And yeah, that kind of stopped me this week from farming.
Yeah, okay. It's understandable. So it's just like saved up Ursus and tour money a little bit and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's not a lot. I think it's like 200 mil or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that does mean that probably have to focus a bit more on just saving for now. Do you like already have an idea for now, like what would be like the first thing to move into? What's the second thing, and how do you already have like kind of a concept in your brain that you want to like get like check with me if that's like a good idea, or do you just want to start from scratch, I guess?
Well, basically, I still have questions about my weapon. If my fake Absolab should be switched with the Fafnir one,
Mm-hmm.
and if I should use the 17 stars on it, or 15, and then use the 5, 10, 15 event to make it 16, and then use the 17 scroll on one of the rings that I have. because I do have a solid Golex ring or a Dominator pendant.
Okay, so yeah, we're basically looking at like all the possible values. So the value of switching into the Fafnir is that you can get that you can give a potential, right? This one does not have that ability. You'll go down a little bit in attack power because of the base. And the flame might be a little bit worse. You'll gain the 30 boss, which is in the potential line now. You'll lose a 10% crit, which isn't a huge loss. And you'll lose 14% damage, but then you'll have the whole unique potential to work with. But of course, the unique potential is going to cost money to make. And then you're losing, quote unquote, the value of the scroll, which could be used on something else. So that's like the pros and the cons if you put them next to each other. So whether that's worth it or not kind of depends on what all your other options are. If you have enough time to get even like, let's say, just one other Abso piece, and you can start moving into that, and you can start working on the set with the fake piece, I would say that always would gain precedence and would be more valuable than, because like moving to the Fafnir kind of feels more of an upgrade sideways than forward. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's not like exclusively better, right? Because there's also some drawbacks. I would say that probably for the weapon, the next thing to focus on would be so if you can't get the Abso weapon in time, would be either to upgrade the Fafnir, but only the Starforce part, so that you can transfer hammer it into the Abso once you get the real Abso, and then focus on the next big upgrade being the 17-star real Abso, rather than investing into the Fafnir weapon. But that could mean using the 15-star scroll on the Fafnir and getting it to 16 during 5, 10, 15, but then just sitting on that for now. And then spending the rest of the money on other stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And then, the Fafnir is just like in your inventory until you get the real weapon. But I wouldn't focus on getting the weapon first, but I would focus on getting the other parts of Abso first, so that you can get the set rolling and start investing in the other high Starforce, high Starforce value and high flame value Abso items and high potential tier items. And then once you have all of those, then upgrade the weapon last.
Yeah, so go like for maybe the shoulder, glove, and cape first?
Yeah.
Shoes?
Probably the shoes over the cape, right? Because you're probably going for the Tyrant cape first.
Oh, yeah.
So comparative to the cape, the Abso cape will be a smaller upgrade comparatively. Shoe and glove will probably come first from the Lotus shop, and then shoulder, and then weapon and cape will be like around the same time, depending on if you get lucky or unlucky with the drops from the bosses.
Okay.
So that does mean that we have the 17-star scroll available, and then something that would ideally it be used on is like an Abso item, right? Like the other items, but I don't think you'll be able to get those. Well, actually, it's possible that you might be able to get those, but you'll have to play a little bit hard to get to the point where you can start getting those. If you can't get those, something like any kind of, if you can get a superior drop by then, that would be very valuable to use it on. And then preferably one that you cannot easily transfer hammer into. So I would prioritize the earrings, for example, over the belt, right? Because the belt, very easy to transfer hammer. Just get a bunch of ping bean belts, so you can get the value that way. The earrings you can get, but you need like reinforced earring drops at that point. So that's a bit harder to come across.
Yeah, okay.
The other thing that could be valuable is the kind of treasure ring, for example.
Oh, I think I have that one, actually.
Because, I mean, that's one's 140, right? Level 140? Yeah?
Oh, I don't have it on this one, but I know which one you mean.
Mm-hmm. Cause it is lower level, so you don't gain as much, but you would be safeguarding it all the way up as well. So you do still get a huge chunk of the value. And then once you have that at 17, it immediately becomes a pretty strong ring as well, and then starts competing with all your other rings. And then you can re-roll your other rings, and because you have quite a bunch of them already, and then you can start rolling in your rings and then just see, well, do I get Mezzo Obtain, do I get drop rate, or do I get a lot of damage? And then based on what you end up rolling on the ring, it just gets that function for now. Because all of the rings, if you get the 17-star rings, if it's Golex, if it's the Kana ring, or if it's one of your event rings, all of those are pretty close to the same strength level. The only one that's considerably lower is the blessing ring, right? The explorer. Sorry, the boss set one. What is it? White blessing. I forget the name now.
Yeah.
I'm derping now. I forget the name, but right now the silver blossom ring, that's the one. Because it has 18, it's now also kind of at the same level. So basically, whatever ends up rolling a bunch of damage just becomes a damage ring, and if it rolls drop or mezzo, then it becomes a drop or mezzo ring. But that way you can start getting, because your WSE is already like pretty on point for a while, right? And the Abzo is just only slowly gonna come in. So as you get that a little bit upgraded, the accessories, you'll make a little bit more money when you're training as well. But you do want to focus on damage there because you do have the farmer on the side to pick up some of the slack for the mezzo income. So you do want to focus more on stat so that you can kill faster, get more experience faster, and then, you know, once you run out of totems and all that, then the Kana can just make up for the money lost.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't to bring that back, I would focus less on your CRA and getting that to legendary and more on the accessories for now, because accessories have fewer junk lines in legendary. So investment wise, it's cheaper to get stats on them than on your on your CRA set. CRA set has more junk lines in legendary, so it's sometimes even better to just roll with Master Craftsman cubes until you get 2 lines of luck and just keep them unique for a while.
I see.
So for your hat, I'd probably do that over trying to get it to legend. Although, of course, right, like with your glove and with your hat, it's kind of like the crit damage on the gloves and the cooldown reduction on the hat. Those are pretty good. So that's kind of up to you if you want to do that earlier or later. I see that more as a bit of a min-maxy thing, but it is quite good. So yeah, it's kind of hard to very definitively say like this is how it should be prioritized, I guess.
Okay, makes sense.
Probably, yeah, I would probably do it like right after the accessories. Go for those two, like the glove and the hat, and then you keep that until probably keep that until like the Helix stage, and then then the emblem will be moved out first, and then all the other stuff will. Then you'll have like more of the Abzo pieces, and then those will start going to legendary, and then those flames are going to get fine-tuned at that point. That's kind of the general timeline, I guess. Does that kind of fit together?
Yeah. I do notice that I have solid Gollix earrings.
Mm-hmm.
So should I do the 17 scroll on that one then?
Well, those are only solid, so that's level 130.
Yeah.
So the lower item you go, the less value you're getting back from it, right? Because Starforcing is always cheaper on lower level items. But what would the goal be of the earrings to get them to 17? Like to transfer hammer into reinforced and then into superior?
Well, I guess.
Well, because that's the thing with Reboot, right? Since we don't have trade, you kind of want to look at how can I maintain my value as much as possible? How can I transfer my previous investment over so that I don't have to completely restart from zero on every item? That way you can get to the finish line faster because, you know, money is a finite resources, time is a finite resources. So if you can salvage some of that, then by readjusting your game plan a little bit, maybe taking a little bit of a hit in the short term, then in the long term you can make a gain from it, right?
Yeah.
So versus using the ring, which is higher level and immediately gets you to the point. Maybe you don't need a ring right now, so that could be an argument, right? But what if you start rolling your rings, for example, and then you get a legendary, and then you get like mezzo obtain and a line of luck, or you get a line of mezzo and a line of drop or something. Well, that ring is now really good. You don't want to roll over it, but now you're short a damage ring. Whereas on the other side, you have a 17-star solid E-ring in your inventory, but I don't even see much value in getting 17-star solid over Starforcing your current E-ring, which is already, I think, 12?
No, it's 11.
11? Starforcing that one, and then just continuing to make use of the boss accessory set, which if you switch up to the solid, you might actually lose one of the boss accessory set bonuses, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9. Oh, you have 10
No, I don't
now?
think
1, 2,
so.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Yeah.
8, 9, 10. Oh, yeah, so you could lose 1 now without losing the set. That's good to know. That doesn't mean if you switch out the ring, for example, for a damage ring, that you don't lose anything. The only thing you gain if you switch to earring, right, is that the 2 set solid comes into play, which
Yeah, but
is
that's nothing, right?
Yeah, it's probably just some HP and some MP, I believe.
Yeah, it's 12 all stats and 800 HP and MP.
Yeah, I think the higher value, because the solid ring is already Starforce as well, right? So if you can use it on something that doesn't have any Starforce yet, then we get the most value, and we save the most time as well, because we don't have to do all the clicking.
Well, I can still do probably the Kana quest and just get that ring.
Yeah, yeah. But then if you would equip that ring, which ring would you switch out with that one?
Well, probably solid.
Right, yeah, exactly. And then you still have 10. So the way that you have to look at it is like you still have an equip that doesn't give you any set bonus, but that does take up a slot. That is not necessarily a bad thing unless you can equip something else in there that does give you a set bonus, right? What it means though that is if you get your superior belt and you switch that over, you don't lose set bonus, but you gain the insane stats that is superior belt.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't use your, well, we were going to use the 15 star on the on dagger and get it to 16 Sunday. Wait, do we have enough money to buy the scroll, by the way?
Well, I can farm on my Kana for that, so that's not a problem.
Okay. And then just get it to 16. Yeah, that's just guaranteed. That's cheap as hell. Okay.
But you said dagger, right? Not Katara?
Yeah, dagger. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
How are you with backups for CRA backups are pretty low, right?
Yeah. I basically just got my my first one since I switched to this character.
And do you have some backups when it comes to like the Narrows and Kataras and stuff?
No, but they shouldn't be hard to get.
No, that's true. That's true. Because I would work on that a little bit to get some backups. Because one of the beautiful things is that Kataras are super easy to get for you, and therefore it's very low risk when there's like the next 5, 10, 15, because we're like planning long term now. For once you have a bunch of CRA backups, you have the narrow backups, and you have a bunch of Kataras, which you can easily get. At that point, you can basically carefree and without having to safeguard, just Starforce those up and just roulette those one at a time, up and up and up, past 17, and you can get really good gains on your dual blade without having to safeguard or think about extra items and then transfer hammering over and then losing a star there again. You just don't have to worry about all of that for like a bunch of items, and you could just go right on the item, which is, you know, provided that you don't get super unlucky and blow a bunch of stuff up, is way cheaper overall. And then you have the extra benefit there of the Katara being able to give that to you, and the extra 30 boss and 10 IED, of course. So the one extra thing though, and I forgot about that earlier, is that for Katara there's also transposing that you can do.
Yeah, I saw in another video you did as well with another dual blader, and you guys were talking about that as well.
Yeah, I would have to Google how much the exact gains are that you can make to transpose there at 16. I don't know if anyone in the chat, any dual blade, knows exactly how much it is. It is, oh, someone says 8 attack. Yeah, so that is 8 attack, 11 stat is the number apparently. So that is quite something. But depending on how much it's going to cost you and set you back and having to redo your potential and all of that shit, I think a lot of times people will just end up with their weapon like you have and maybe get it to 15, 16, 17, maybe like that. And then, you know, on the side, work on a Katara once you have enough pieces from Seavel, that kind of stuff. Get it to 16 and then transpose it, and then go super hard on the other one while you're just holding on to your current one. And then the benefit is that you can just go full red cubes without having to risk ending at something that is way worse than your current one and then going down in a lot of damage, right?
Yeah, most of the time I just black cube by that point.
Exactly. So you can save a lot of money by just mass red cubing. But that's something that you're going to work on the side, and this is probably already once you go like, this is like beyond the Lotus and Damien clears that we were talking about. Like this is once you're like finalizing for Lucid and stuff like that. So you're looking at like level 230 plus, 235 plus.
Okay.
Does it all make sense? But yeah, at that point you have like 7 or 8 backup Kataras, and then just during a 5, 10, 15, you just go ham after you transpose. And then
makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Cool. And then once you have the Starforce that you want, then you can full red cube there, and then switch over, and then make like a huge gain there. In kind of the same strategy, you do that with CRA, right? Where you just just build a bunch of backups, and then you can just go hard. The other thing that is really nice, and that's something to kind of think about, but that depends on how fast you make your money, is with the belt. Like, let's say you get the belt pretty soon, then you could get some more Starforce on your Golden Clover belt, transfer hammer it over, and then get the belt, safeguard the belt to 17, and then just keep that for a while. If it takes a while longer and you make a bunch more money in the meantime, you can also easily build up a bank of Golden Clover belts, and then go hard on higher Starforce, and then transfer hammer over once you're at like, I don't know, 19, 20, 21, something like that, and then redo the potential afterwards. You really don't want to underestimate how much extra stat and attack you gain from high Starforce, and how important that is versus potential. And once you still have potential that is easily rerollable, disproportionately investing into Starforcing first will end up saving you a lot of money.
Yeah, so you don't have to redo the potentials.
Yeah, so because once, like, let's say that you do get to 17 star in the superior, that's whatever, but you also don't want to have to like transfer hammer over from 17 to 18, and then again to 20, and then later again to 21 or something, right? Because that's too many steps, that costs you way too much money. But it's perfectly normal to be like, okay, keep it at 17 for a while, save up money over a bunch of time, save up a bunch of belts. If you get one at 21, you transfer hammer it over. If you don't, it's whatever. And then you keep the belt either at like unique with 2 lines, or maybe a legendary with 2 lines, depending on how rich you are and how lucky you get with everything, of course. But always keep that in the back of your mind, right? If you're like, okay, I do have a lot of money, there is an event coming, I do have some belts back up, and I can pretty much kill everything around my level, then don't, whatever is the level of over investing in your belt will go down, right? Like the concept of like, okay, now I'm spending quote unquote too much. For some people, that line will be at, your current potential will already be good enough, and then everything more will be over investing. Some people need the 2 lines of legendary to roughly on everything to make up for it, but that'll also depend on how big your Legion gets by that point. Legion link skills, if you can fill up your grid and critical damage, for example, if you get the 6k, that's a lot of static damage that you get for mobbing and bossing always, and that will carry your damage in your account by a lot. Also, if you're in a guild, that can apply, I don't know how big your guild is, but if you don't have too many guilds, you probably get decent guild skill levels, right, every week?
Yeah. I think our hard hitter is max, and for the guild is max, and the IDA one is with 8. So.
Okay, yeah. So that does mean if you're training, you can alternate between those, the hard hitter and the damage one, so that you always have one of the 2 up, right? So that your basic strength always is a bit higher as well, to one-shot more easily. So if you combine that, and then the combination of those 2, you can use that basically to postpone making big upgrades, and then as a result, just save your money over a longer period of time, have more money to spend during an event. Event multiplies the value of your upgrades, or of your money, and then you can get more upgrades for the same amount. So then, you take a little bit of a step back, have other things fill in the gap, and then later make a huge upgrade. And then that huge upgrade will feel really, really good. And you're going to be able to feel it, right? If you make a lot of small upgrades, a lot of times you don't even notice really that you're getting stronger. You just have to like, oh, I know my numbers in my head are bigger because, I made an upgrade, so it must be better. But if you can kind of, hold back in the beginning and then make the huge upgrade, it'll feel way better because you'll just notice the numbers getting huge. And then especially for bossing, you'll see improvement there. You'll see like Dream Defender floors going up, that kind of stuff once you get the Lachaline, and be able to push for the next decimal, that kind of stuff. But it's like more of a the mentality behind it, or the idea behind all of the concept. Does that kind of solidify your plan for upgrade priority for all the equips, or is there still something you're wondering about?
No, I think that's okay.
Yeah, flames will probably start coming into play once you get everything at least 17. Then you can start kind of looking at the flame scores and see which items need the most work. Until then, it's not super duper priority. Just as you have flames from bosses, just throw them on. If you have a few of them, if you have like one singular flame, I wouldn't use it, right? Because it's kind of a scam. There's like a very good chance you end up with a shitty flame. So I usually
Yeah, well, if I look at my Dominator pennant right now, it's already shitty. So
yeah, there's not too much to lose there. What is it, like 20 luck or something?
I don't think.
Oh no, not
it's
even
20
anything. Oh nice.
No, it's just dex
HP,
and
MP.
jump and speed.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, so it didn't improve much from the screenshot. Screenshot has HP,
Yeah.
MP, defense, and speed. So
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. It's even worse now.
It went from 0 to 0. That's it's kind of actually quite impressive that it managed to dodge all of the skills that even do something.
Oh, is that impressive? I'm kind of used to it.
Okay, damn. Humble brag. All right, I'm used to getting 0 stats. Okay, damn.
Oh, it's not a lie. Like the emblem for my Night Lord took me 78 cubes, black cubes, to get it to legendary from unique.
Nice, money well spent.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great time. Okay, let's see if we have everything. So gloves pretty much keep until Abza stuff. Yeah, so in general for all the other stuff as well, like for the shoes, for the gloves, for the cape, whatever, depending on how long it takes you to get there and how much money you have at the time, it could make the most sense to just buy the Abzo item and just Starforce on it, safeguard up to 17, whatever, and then so that you can start working on everything else. If there are events announced whatsoever, then what you can work on prior is already the flames, right? Because those don't get written over with Starforcing, with transfer hammering. So you can already pre-flame them to something nice if you have flames lying around. And then go for the lower level items like the 150s and stuff to transfer hammer over. But again, if you're only going for 17, only, not to downplay it, but if you're going for 17, then the price of going for one higher and transferring over and stuff, that's really only worth if you're doing like 15 to 16 during a 5, 10, 15 transfer and then for free again and then safeguard to 17. In all other situations, I would just do it on the Absol item itself. Like 30% off on the Abzo to 15 with safeguard and then wait for a 5, 10, 15 to get the last star, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
That takes care of like the guitar jump progression. Yeah, the only thing left is I guess the heart, but just hope for a 1 droid and until then just leave this one be, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't really focus a lot on it. So.
Yeah, it's just the percentage is so low per tier. It's not it's kind of like throwing your money. It's like burning your money. If everything else is already like 18 star plus and already legendary, and you every single gain becomes very expensive at that point, then you can throw some money at it. But excuse me, I would just wait for like a fairy heart or a 1 droid heart, and then other than that, not touch it honestly.
Yeah, because it's like 6% in legendary.
Yeah, 633. Yeah, on it's rough. 12%. It's like 1 prime line on legendary on 150 and below. So
yeah,
with I mean they are disproportionately cheaper, right? They don't have as many junk lines, but still, no, it's not. It's not a investment I would advise. I would definitely go way harder on all your accessories before that, and get your Abzo higher and everything, because it's 1 line of 13% versus a whole item of 12 is what you're looking at. So
yeah,
it's pretty crazy comparison. So we're talking about the shoes, cape, medal we talked about, badge we talked about, emblem we talked about, hat. Yeah. The only other thing is that if you want to, if you're going to make enough money to buy out all the droplets before the end of the event.
Yeah, I wanna try to do that. Yes.
Yeah, because
like if you 5 bill, right?
Yeah, 5 bill to buy out both the stacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think if you're progressing at a decent rate and you have a farmer on the side that you can make money with, and you seem to play a decent amount, I think that would be an advisable thing for you to get to. Yeah.
Yeah. I've, first of all, prioritize the boss ones, I guess. Or
the boss ones.
The blue ones.
Oh, because you have the lucid ones and the will ones. Prioritize. Yeah, that's gonna be tricky. Where does Dual Blade train? I think Dual Blade wants to get to Labyrinth as soon as you hit 250. Don't stay in Arcana for too long, I think. Maybe even move into Moonbridge. Maybe sell us. Yeah, I think you won't be in. You'll still be building up your drop rate probably, and you won't be in Arcana that long. So probably want to focus on the will ones, yeah, if you have to choose. Was it the Stone Origin is the name, I think?
I have no clue, actually.
Yeah, one is like bluish with green, and the other one is purplish with pink in it. I don't think I'm on a character that has both of them, though. No. Can I see it here? Hang on. Boss content.
Yeah, one has purple in it, yeah. Stone Origin droplet. And
Yeah,
then
the Stone...
River droplet.
Yeah, the Stone Origin one, that's the will one. So probably more likely that you're going to end up buying your weapon with those. And you need the most for your weapon. So probably focus on those first if you have to choose between the two. So like the purple with the pink in it over the blue ones with the green, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. But I think you should be able to buy both because the store stays up until the 31st, so you have 2 more full weeks now. And you have your Maple Tour and Ursus money every month, so.
Yeah, I think it's doable.
Yep, I think so too. I believe in you.
Yes.
Provided that no more, things happen.
Yeah.
But it is kind of uncertain times in that regard. So I had another.
Yeah, that's true.
The session yesterday couldn't go through as well for someone else's exact same reason. So.
Oh.
It is going to be a weird time for that.
Yeah. It's not starting good this year. But.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's still just the ending of last year. It's still 2020 that's affecting us.
Yeah.
And it's going to be at least until the middle of the year, right? At least until this summer.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get, vaccines and stuff like that out before then. But,
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, just make sure you get those voyages and those dineros up so you can start working on the eye and the phase. It kind of depends from person to person if they want to go for if they want to get the Zakum eye and phase, get those up to legendary, and then just get Mezzo and drop, and maybe a little bit of luck, and then just hold on to that until they want to go hard on the Sweetwater ones. The Sweetwater ones are definitely worth once you get them past 15 stars because of the amount of extra stats and attack you get, right, and the higher tier potential. Mm-hmm. Until then, it's not super necessary to switch over. Some people don't want to go to legendary on their Iron Face because then what if you roll 3-line luck or something on it? Then it feels really bad.
True.
So some people keep like epic or unique at most on these and then just go for double sets of tattoos and monocles and then just potential them first and then see which ones get the best potential and then Starforce the ones with the best potential for damage, basically.
Yeah, makes sense.
But of course you need more of a startup fund for that because these ones are already close to legendary, so that it'd be cheaper to get these up. If you're going for full on the other ones, then it's a bit more of an expensive way, but you do have the safety net of if you roll something good in stat, then at least it's on a monocle or on a tattoo that can go to high Starforce. So those are basically your 2 options there, but it'll depend on how much money you have, how long it takes you to get the dineros, etc., etc. But yeah, that way you know what your options are when you do get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're just lacking superior stuff, but we already talked about Hardlux, Hellux. That's just going to be a little bit torture for like a month or 2 or 3 or 4. And just pray for the drops.
Yeah. Can Hard also drop something or just only Hellux?
Well, Hard drops up to reinforced. It drops the earrings and the belts up to reinforced.
Ah, okay.
And then the other, only drops earrings and belts. So it can drop the lower ones as well, but nothing super useful there.
No, not really.
No,
I have a few cracked ones in my inventory, but
yeah, that's almost. I mean, if they're epic, you can transfer hammer something over, right? Basically like a free e-pod. But if it's not epic, it's just extracting at that point.
Yeah, it's epic, so that's why I still have it.
Right, there you go. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, again, whatever you can do to salvage some of the value, always want to focus on that because there's There's enough money to be able to spend. You can spend infinite amounts of cash. So anything you can do to make it a little bit easier and get a little bit of a head start, even if it just goes at the expense of one spot in your inventory, is always worth it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we are getting around to getting pretty much everything said. Is there anything I went over a little bit too quickly, or anything you're still wondering about?
I don't think so.
We'll just scroll through your stuff, see if there's anything that comes to mind. I mean, if you have the coins for Superior, I guess buy the ring first. Would be my priority advice, I guess. Pendant second, probably.
I do also have a solid belt, so I could get the 3 set.
I think it's better to keep what you have now. That's like another sideways upgrade, I would see it. I'd move more.
I won't lose 9 set, of course.
If you if you switch both of them, yeah. Yeah, basically everything everything until Superior for Galax is kind of just dookie now. The rings can be fine for transfer fodder later, the solid rings. And then of course the reinforced ring comes into play when it comes to like endgame setup and everything. But other than that, reinforced can be setup fodder, and then the solid ring. But everything else is just, you know, waiting to become superior, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the only other thing is like once you start leveling up your skill nodes, basically the blades and the tornado most, right? Because those have very short cooldowns. Combined with once you get the cooldown reduction on the hat, that's going to be a lot of your damage. So definitely focus those two for once your boost nodes are closer to max. Focus on those two skill nodes most.
Yeah.
Short cooldown, high repetition is very, very good. Yeah, your Legion and your Link's slowly getting up there, so that's good. Everything seems pretty much on pace, but yeah, we talked about moving over the pieces, right, in the Legion.
Yeah, to the crit damage instead of the ignore enemy defense.
Yeah, the boss damage. Yeah.
Oh yeah, boss damage. Yeah.
So you can go through. You're probably trying to go through the middle. Yeah, and then move what is in luck here now to where magic attack is, basically.
Yeah.
So you'll lose one extra spot in the middle, but you end up in boss damage instead. That should increase your boss damage by quite a bit. Yep. Oh, the only thing we didn't talk about at all is your inner ability. Do you have kind of a plan for that?
Oh yeah. I wanna start using those 90 mil things. I forgot the name, but that you can buy in the cash shop.
Right. Miracle circulators.
Yes, I tried to re-roll my my inner ability with the past event. But this is the best that came out of it.
Yep.
So I really have to use those items, I guess.
Yeah, and you know what lines to look for? And how to go about it exactly if you're using the circulators?
Well, not on the last part, no. I think I just used them, right? Or...
Yeah, but like let's say because you can pick the new one and you can pick the previous one, right? Like what are you looking for? Which potential lines, if you see them in the circulator, would you go into, and because you do have 20% item drop, which is nice, gets you more nodes, which is very useful, right? In getting your account funded. Yeah. So what would be good enough for you to say like, okay, this is worth rolling over 20% item drop rate?
Well, you had you had the comment right in chat.
Yes.
I did look at it, but I kind of forgot what the lines were. I think attack was one of them. Cooldown skip was one of them.
I think so too. But the most important one is... What is the most important stat in the game? What gives you the most damage?
Well, crit damage.
No, even more than that.
More?
Yep. Starts with an F. And ends with damage.
Final damage?
Yes, final damage. What gives you
I
final
didn't know there was
damage?
an inner line.
Well, no, it's not a line, but that's the most important damage multiplier, right? What gives you final damage?
Well, just attack, right?
No, specifically the final damage stat. Where do you get that as a dual blade? Also starts with final.
Final cut?
Yes, right. I mean, it gives you a
Oh,
buff.
so you mean buff duration?
Yes. All right.
Ah,
Sorry
yeah.
for being cryptic about it, but that's how to remember, right? Like, what is very important? Final damage. How do I get it? Final cut. How do I get final cut to be more? Buff duration. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
absolutely, because I think
And the other thing is, what helps you a lot in bossing, the survivability, is the iframe, right? So if you have longer buff duration, that means you don't always have to use Final Cut immediately to keep the buff up. So you have a little bit more wiggle room. And during that wiggle room, you can maybe time it to also immune some damage and use it as an iframe actually functionally. So that's why buff duration is also so good.
Ah, okay.
Especially because now your second iframe is getting nerfed a little bit in the future. Did you see about that?
No, I think you mentioned it to the other two players' progression, but I haven't seen it. So
yeah, it's like live now in KMS, so like somewhere in the next 5 months or something. Jafar is very sad when we mentioned buff duration. He's a dual blade, and he was rolling, and he rolled too quickly, and he rolled over 37%, which is 1% off of the highest possible. So he's like, gets some PTSD whenever we mention it. Yeah. So the what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So the iframe is cut in half in duration if you use the normal one, but if you use the hits at the end, then it's still the long duration. So because of that, also, you know, having the extra utility in the final cut will be nice to survive.
Oh yeah, makes sense. So
that's usually it's a hard one to roll though, a very hard one. So that's why it's like mentioned third and fourth, because many people give up before they get it. But if you can get that in the circulator, then I would say that's definitely worth using. So either the second or the third line can get it. It's going to be more likely on the second, but it's also possible on a third. And then I would roll over. But I wouldn't go into circulators too soon. I think holding on to just 20% item drop rate for a while still is not a bad idea. And the main idea behind it is also that if you just have the 38% buff duration, that's nice. But, you know, ideally you want to be able to also roll into your, boss damage, I think, on the main one. Yeah. You want to be able to roll back into boss damage with honor experience as well right after that to make the whole switch over to the new inner ability worth it. So unless there's a circulator sale, or you have a lot of honor experience, or both, I wouldn't jump into circulators like too soon. I would work on all the equips first.
Yeah, okay.
Just to prioritize it out, yeah. But also, just a heads up, there hasn't been a circulator sale, I think, in like a year and a half now, so I think they just completely moved away from those, so that might have to be a completely off-event thing to do.
Yeah, it kind of feels like double miracle time these days.
Yeah. I mean, that's
also
even worse though. When it is there, it doesn't even work. So, well,
yeah,
actually, for you guys, it worked probably, right?
Well, a bit, yes, but wasn't insanely good.
Not as bad as GMS, but
no, I heard you guys couldn't even log in or something.
If you weren't logged in, it was hard to get in. If you were in, it was hard to get into the cash shop. If you were in the cash shop, it was hard to get cubes. If you had cubes, it was hard to use cubes. And if you used cubes, it was hard to even reveal them. So it's like many levels of difficulty going on. Like during the event, I used 8 cubes. And I got, out of those 8 cubes, I got 6 rerolls. And out of those 6 rerolls, I got 4 potentials. So
wow.
You can imagine how bad it was. I only saw 4 different I had to pay the cost 6 times. I only saw 4 potentials, but I lost 8 cubes. So, you know, good times.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, that was the best like hour and a half of my life, or like 1 hour.
And then you had the sale after it, or was it only for?
No, like the sale was before. I think that one was with the limited sale, to only like up to 30 cubes per pack or something.
Yeah, it could be.
Like 5 packs, I think 5 packs per person, and then packs of 30, I think.
Oh yeah, that could be it. Yes.
So that was, not, not fantastic, to put it lightly.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we got through everything then.
Yeah, I think so.
Is the whole priority that's somewhat clear?
Well, yes, I'm gonna start working on hard helix,
Yep.
so I can start getting those coins.
Yes, that's going to be an important thing. The other thing that you can look into, that might be worth, is as long as you don't need the arcane power anymore to get the bonus damage for monsters near your level, that you reset your hyper stats and take a little bit out of the luck and the arcane power to get the boss damage and the damage and the critical damage all a little bit higher. Try to keep the ignore defense around the same level, right? Because we did talk about that. But try to just put points into critical damage, ignore defense, damage, and boss damage. Just those until you get all of those to 10. And focus on those most. As long as you don't need the arcane power. Arcane power is still important, right? Because it gives you final damage. So that one will be more important for mobbing. But as long as you don't need to rely on that one anymore, then focus more on those 4.
Yeah, I think I have like too many arcane powder anyway now. So.
Yep. And the one that's in luck is like fine to just fill up, but you don't want luck to be higher than your critical damage, for example. Because it is it's a flat amount, right? It's just a flat final amount of luck versus, critical damage being very good. The second best damage damage thing.
Yeah, okay, it makes sense.
Okay, I think that's wraps us up.
Yeah, I think so as well.
All right, best of luck with everything, and I'll see you around.
Yeah, best of luck to you as well, and thank you again.
Yes, no problem. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, nice. I think we were able to, in the beginning we had to get used to everything a little bit, but I think mapping out the IED and like the whole progression of the IED for his character, I think that was very useful. For me as well, because that's, if you're mainly tracking your progression on your IED, on bossing, then your backbone is like, can I even hit them? Like, can I even get my damage through? So since critical rate is not so much an issue with this character, we can just go lower on that, make sure the IED is correct, and then build everything around the skeleton of the IED being there and the critical rate being there. And then everything else can start falling into place. DB's needing IED. You still need a little bit. It's not like, oh, you could just do no IED, because if you do that, you'll only deal damage with 3 of your skills, and all the other skills will deal no damage. So, I mean, there might be dual blades out there who just cycle their 3 big skills, and then other than that, just hit ones on bosses. That might be doable, but that might be tricky. Crip is a PogChamp today. Oh, that's not a bad one. They're all facing the right. Final damage, yeah. If crit damage is the second best, what's technically considered the best? Yeah, final damage. Final damage is the biggest one because it's multiplicative with each other. Critical damage is like final damage, but it's additive, so it doesn't scale as well. Then all of their V skills get a lot of IED too. 30% on the blade, 100% on their burst. I already forgot the name now, and 100% on the tornado. So that's really good, but you don't have 100% uptime on those, right? Those are cooldown skills. So you do take into account, and you do end up a little bit on the lower side, but eventually, you don't want to go too much lower because disproportionately there's going to be a decent chunk of damage from those skills, but not all of it. So you do want to end up, and Asura too, but he said 5th job skill, so that's why I didn't mention it. Boom! But yeah, I know Asura has 100% as well. But yeah. Hopefully that was useful for you guys. Hopefully it illustrated some things. We had the other dual blade progression a few days ago. So combined with that one and this one, hopefully that will, for new dual blades, you can kind of see how to get from, level 200 to this situation, then from this situation to the other situation of the other dual blade who was at 250, and then from that dual blade situation to even beyond. So if you put those two together, you can basically kind of see general lines of how you move through the game from 200 up to 260, basically, if you put those two together. So yeah, hopefully that was good for you, and hope you enjoyed. And if you want one of these sessions as well, check the description of the video and follow the instructions there, and then maybe you'll be talking to me one day. If you have information regarding battle analyses, monster kill per hour, or training videos in Moonbridge or above, please also check the description and check the link there and the number into the Google form, and I will be able to use it as input for my commands that you are all free to use on my Twitch channel, and then you can get some more information and get some more nuance in which maps are good, how do all the classes compare to each other, and that kind of stuff. So check me out on Twitch to find all of that information under !info.